What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our brand new Elder Scrolls 6 discussion
on Morrowind.
Exactly.
With Michael and Scott, we'll be talking about the possibility of Elder Scrolls 6 being in Morrowind. What would that be like? The setting, the area, yada yada.
It'd be fucking beautiful, that's what it would be, Michael.
The plot lines, revisiting that alien feel.
If Elder Scrolls 6 was in Morrowind, and the setting is Morrowind, it would be the mainland.
You can't have it in Vardenfell, because Vardenfell is covered in ash.
Because remember, in Morrowind, or those of you that haven't played it, Morrowind was only set in Vardenfell, the little island that's in between.
Yeah, the map looks like this. You've got Vardenfell.
And then the mainland, like, around like this. Whoosh. Yeah. So, if it were the mainland, perhaps allowing you to go to Vardenfell for some, like, sort of...
post-apocalyptic adventure.
Yeah, some, like, little missions and stuff.
And you go on with the goggles and...
But there'd be no towns and so on there, but...
Just to recover... There could be tribes or something, but just to recover... Like, bandit tribes, I mean, like, more, violent.
They've got all this mainland, which is, they've got the mountainous regions to the left bordering Skyrim, they've got the coastal areas to the right.
You've got mountain up the top right, too.
Yeah, and they've got these big, the Deshan Plains, where House...
I feel like saying House Dress.
Dress, it is House Dress, that's it, thank you for correcting me. Anyway, the Deshan Plains there was a big conflict between the Argonians, because the Argonians came up and invaded Morrowind, so they would have annexed particular areas of this. Or
they went all the way up to Mournhold.
Yeah, but they just sacked Mournhold, but basically...
Yeah, but they have area down the bottom now.
Yeah, so from what I've seen, which brings us to another good point, is that if the game were set in Morrowind, in the mainland Morrowind, you'd have a good mix of culture and conflict between the Argonians and Dunmer. So you'd have both, you'd see them on the border, some with slaves of either, differing opinions. You'd actually see Argonians as a force, like an actual faction.
Instead of such a minority as well.
Yeah.
Like political faction, really, not Argonians, the faction, but yeah. So basically as well, with the Argonians being in Morrowind, go back and watch our Elder Scrolls 6 in Black Marsh video, because we talk about all the culture and all that kind of stuff there. If you want to know the culture you'd be seeing for Black Marsh, go watch that video.
Hashtag promotion.
We talk about... No, but it's important to...
yes.
You got the mix of...
I'm kidding, bro.
I'm in a serious mood. But yeah, so you got the mix of cultures. So if you want to know all about the were creatures, the were crocodiles, and all that kind of good stuff, go watch the Elder Scrolls 6 in Black Marsh video. But yeah, Morrowind, you're going to be an alien, you're going to have netches, you're going to have... Yeah.
And the whole thing, because, in one of our Black Marsh videos, people were saying that you can't go into the centre of it, you can't really explore it and so on, because it's so toxic and poisonous to humans and so on.
It makes so much sense.
It'd be great to see the Argonians in Morrowind, so you can experience their culture without having to, because you can't go to those areas because it's against the law, because it's too toxic for you or whatever. So you'd be able to see it.
And by the law, he means L-O-R-E.
Yes.
Against the law.
L-O-R-E.
Yeah, but you're right. That would be a fantastic loophole to find out what Argonian culture is like, but you'd have that in Morrowind. So in one game, you knock out... Well, it's law-friendly. You get the Argonian culture. You get more Morrowind culture for people who never played Morrowind, which makes Morrowind players happy, because other Elder Scrolls players know Morrowind.
And Morrowind's an old game. 2002, that's 13 years ago. It's not like it's not like some young little game that like everyone will know about it. Kids these days, or like people who grow up, or people who only just started playing Elder Scrolls in high school or so on.
We'll put it this way, Morrowind, for me, is even on the borderline of didn't know about it. Like, I found out about it through Oblivion, but I didn't know about Morrowind.
Yeah, same.
Of course not.
And then when we were back played Morrowind, but most people can't handle it because its gameplay's pretty outdated. Anyway, but it would be nice to see Morrowind in this sort of refreshed area. So there'd be familiarity for long-time players, and then there'd be it's a completely fresh and alien for the new players.
And they did give you a taste of Morrowind in Skyrim.
Oh yes, with the whole side
going. If that was testing the waters.
Yeah, well, that revealed a bit about...
It did tell us that we like... Yeah, well, it did reveal a bit about, like, the lore and what's been happening with the refugees and all that kind of thing. And we saw the refugees in the Grey Quarter and whatnot. And, I mean, people liked Soulstone. Dragonborn DLC was fantastic, so giving that little taste of Morrowind and then de-Skyriming it.
Think of the weather, and think of the weather, too. Because, we want dynamic weather and stuff, and the ash storms...
Oh, yeah.
They would be amazing because they'd spread a bit off Vardenfell. I mean, they go as far as Solstheim, so they would hit the areas of Blacklight stuff. Imagine a whole big capital city, but like Raven Rock, it's sort of entrenched in ash a bit,
Yeah,
and so on,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
always like dark because there's this like ash looming
Ash.
over.
Ugh.
Or but then you can go down to the Dushan Plains area and so on, and it's all like
It's
green
not the
and
kind
alien.
of place. It's not the kind of place you want to live, definitely, but a nice place to visit. And it's interesting as well because you get to see new architecture as well. So, as you were talking about, when you look at different cultures, they have houses that build underground.
Yeah.
So in Morrowind, you'd see a lot of that. They have those like hut things where it just looks this big on the surface, right? This big on the surface.
Yeah, and then
But then the house extends to
pit houses
down here. Pit houses.
Yeah, because they show them in Raven Rock. You see a few in Raven Rock how they built down underneath the ground.
You get
But
to own one.
Yeah, and
You
it's
own a pit
that's really really neat.
The other thing is, if it were set in Morrowind, Thalmor are likely not to be involved.
Yes, unless it's some sort of stretch. Though one other benefit about Morrowind is everyone's asking for Dwemer. There's lots of Dwemer ruins in Morrowind.
So Morrowind can be
That's
the
right.
exploration for that.
Yeah, so they could reveal more about the lore, perhaps
Little
about their
bits of
disappearance.
mystery.
Plus, it's in a relative area. Like people would have lore about Almalexia and Vivek and all the tribunal gods and the old Chima people that actually had conflict with the Dwemer. So there'll be existing lore around there. So Morrowind would be a perfect place to really sort out what happened.
And again, what that does is it means that the Morrowind players are more united with the players who have only played Skyrim. Like Skyrim was their first game. Now they have more relatability. They get on better.
Yeah, exactly. We're all about bringing the community
Exactly. Now the only thing that this is like one of those imaginary, really what ifs.
Yeah.
But like the only what's the Argonian stance on the Thalmor?
I don't know. I think they're very disconnected.
They're
at the
just
moment.
neutral to the because they were neutral to the civil. No, they are. They're neutral to the conflict between the Imperials and the Thalmor, I'd say, because it wouldn't be the Imperials.
Oh no, they are the Black Marsh. I thought you were talking the Thalmor and neutral. No, the Black Marsh is completely absolved from their own thing.
So can you imagine theoretically if they joined the Thalmor or became allied with the Thalmor? Theoretically,
no, I don't think so because they like value their independence so much, especially since they finally got rid of the fucking slaves and they finally rose up as a powerful force and attacked the Dharma.
I just think that would be so fascinating if they. It's not really like I said. It was just one of those what if dumb things or whatever. But I do want to see something very interesting with a dynamic that changes in Elder Scrolls 6. I want there to be like, holy shit, the Argonians have joined the Thalmor. Well, not that, because, as you said, it doesn't work, but something of that nature that actually can work, and it's like, well, crap. Well, crap, what happens now?
Well, it could be, it depends what they make canon, but you never know, there could be a thing with, if, say, Ulfric Stormcloak is made canon.
We're definitely not joining the Thalmor.
Yeah, imagine if he decided to attack Morrowind and take Morrowind over.
Yeah, there you go. Like,
there you go, that's
random,
dynamic.
Random shit like that, and then what do the Argonians do? Do they capitalize on
because
that?
If you think about it, and it'll be referencing back to Skyrim too, the whole game, because everyone loves references. I love references.
Yes, we love.
They'd be talking about how, like, oh, I used to live. Like, there could be guys. I used to live in Windhelm, and it's disgusting there, or blah blah blah, or our brethren there are. In troublesome. So actually, so it's close proximity to Skyrim. So if it's similar in timeline, and proximity, there's a bit of relatability for previous.
And could there be some sort of ally there? Like, instead of the Ulfric taking over, if Imperials won, perhaps defend them from the Argonians? Like, I feel like people don't just sit there and let Argonians destroy Morrowind.
The Imperials don't even. It's irrelevant. They don't have to come in through Skyrim at all.
Oh, of
they
course.
could be trying to just go across to Morrowind, and they could just try to be sorting stuff out.
Yeah.
And like, oh look, you're in trouble. We'll help you against these guys or whatever.
Well, yeah, that tends to be what Imperials do. Imperials are pretty good guys.
Well, it's all interesting. It depends what happens.
Yeah, like we said with canon, they're probably going to be left powerless, I'd assume. Not powerless, but less powerful.
Yeah,
I don't see Imperials.
I feel like
winning
canon
as
is Stormcloaks, even though I like Imperials.
Yeah, well, like as we've said, our ideals align with the Imperials.
And I'm thinking for story too. It's always more fun when you have. For once, it's everyone's united. If you have conflict creates story, and a lot of story comes out of resolution. So if you have the Stormcloaks take Skyrim. You've now got Stormcloaks independent, High Rock independent because it's disconnected from the Imperials. Hammerfell independent. You've got the Aldmeri Dominion. You've got Blackmarsh independent. You've got Morrowind independent. You've got all these independent powers.
Yeah.
You have this whole like unlikely alliances, like you're saying. Like imagine if
that's all I want to see.
happened.
I just want to see. I don't care if it's Argonians or Thalmor. I just want something unique. Like when you hear
imagine
in ESO how there's Ebonheart Pact. I want another like weird alliance.
Imagine if Cyrodiil was taken by a Thalmor.
That's weird. Where would the Imperials go?
Gone. Imagine if they're full on collapsed and the Aldmeri Dominion have one, but Hammerfell, Skyrim, High Rock, Morrowind, and Blackmarsh are still autonomous
to
themselves. They're all by themselves, but there's the Elves, the United Force, have got Cyrodiil, Somerset Isles elsewhere available. Just food for thought, interesting. But they would make the situation in Morrowind a lot more interesting, and because the Thalmor might be trying to expand into Morrowind, and then there could be a whole Then there could be a whole thing about whether the Blackmarsh help Thalmor are helping the Argonians or Dark Elves.
Yeah.
Because I mean, both don't really like the Thalmor. Both the Dark Elves and Argonians are pretty sort of like
whatever.
Fuck off. Yeah, get out of my land.
Just let us do our own thing.
Pretty much.
We're full. We're full.
And another thing, having our so many Argonians in one place, and it's such a present force, we'd expect to see a lot more customization of Argonians and see how the different tribes look
in
and how it's
lore,
reflected.
In the lore, there's different types of Argonians.
Yeah,
and that's dependent on how much hist sap they ingest when they're young.
Yeah, exactly. And
there are Argonians that look so close to a human, almost a human.
Yeah. But it'd be not.
I'd assume that's because they ingested the least amount of hist sap. That's just how I.
But that'd be awesome. You also have, there's lots of just Argonian things there, like wet fang vampires.
Yeah.
To be around there. Imagine you get to see them come through. There's just lots of a good, healthy mix of all. This is what we like, and factions.
Yeah.
Factions on either side.
And wait. Before factions, definitely, we should say with this mix of culture, you're gonna have a mix of gear. So instead of just Skyrim, let's Nordify everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Daedric was pretty demon, but, you'd have, more Argonian armors and more Morrowind-looking armors.
Yeah.
And you'd have all the unique Morrowind armors, so all the different types of bone mold and the
and the Argonians
and the weird things, and the Argonians will have their own armor, own weapons.
Yeah.
Things of that nature.
That'd be actually...
more things to mix with for your character.
Yeah, so what we wanted to do in the ideal Elder Scrolls 6, we want more diversity. There's an awesome opportunity to create more diversity. But what I was saying about factions is you have something changes it up a bit. You don't really have any of the westernized guilds really, like the Imperial. The Fighters Guild or so. I know, even though that wasn't there.
Yeah,
College of Winterhold and Companions are still very Western. They're all human guilds. You'll have there could be Argonian types of mages guilds, like a shamanistic kind of guild, or there could be
because even Blackwood Company in Cyrodiil was still a westernized Argonian group, at least to me. The Blackwood Company weren't.
Yeah.
They were using westernized for human culture.
No. Well, yeah, no, but
technically they are from the west. They are from the west.
Are,
okay.
Generally.
They are. It is western.
Yeah, northwestern, but yeah.
Yeah.
But so we have these factions. You could join all the different houses, and we wanted factions that are aligned. You align with according to your ideals rather than your skills. So I'm a mage, join this, whatever. So House Telvanni. There's a mentioned House Sadras. It's just briefly mentioned that took the place of another house on the Grand Council.
Right.
House Hlalu. They took the place of that.
Right.
There's House Redoran, which is the main force, which is as you saw in Ravenrock, they're the ones that own Blacklight.
Yeah.
They're leading the council and so on. So there's still done with government going on. But imagine there's also
Argonian factions, you said. I just think it's interesting as well, and you need those options because you don't want if you're an evil mage, there's no guild for you.
Yeah.
There's no guild for you. So there needs to be... Telvanni is not evil, but you could still be an evil mage in the Telvanni. A really knowledgeable...
Well, it's not... it's not so much... But it's do what you want.
Evil. It's do what you want.
And that's the other thing
that allows for evil characters.
We talk about, guidance of, you should be able to do what you want in that. Shouldn't be able to have to be forced into the good outcome of a guild. Whereas you could... change it for...
Well, that's what I actually wanted in Skyrim, was when I was playing the companions, and I wasn't going to be a companion. You know, in your first playthrough, you sort of do anything, then you go back and have lots of playthroughs and like make specific characters and builds, whatever. When I was playing companions for my first character, who was a mage / a thief, like Nightblade sort of gist of it, I wanted to join the Silver Hand. I'm like, oh, yeah, sweet as, I want to be a werewolf hunter.
Well, even that though, they're not evil.
Of course
they're just set up as evil too. But it's just like, yeah, you should be able to enjoy it.
It's all about perspective, as we say.
Exactly.
It's no black and white, shades of grey.
But yeah, so, and in regards to creatures, fruity as fuck, basically. We've got, you'll have netches, and you'll have...
Siltstriders, Nixhounds.
What are they called? Owlets, Nixhounds, I forget their words, Quama.
Those
Quama warriors and Quama queens. And
all these... Reiklings as well? Or are they just
a
soul
slime thing?
Just the soul slime creature.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it's nice and fruity, and you could have some of the black marsh creatures, perhaps different mounts. So imagine you have
Well, that's why I was thinking Reiklings, because you can see Reiklings in the Morrowind DLC when you go to Soul Slime. Yeah.
But imagine having all these different lizardy, insecty mounts that are actually replace horses instead of having... Because in Vardenfell, in Morrowind, there were no mounts, so there were no horses. Mm-hmm. So potentially, and they all used other things.
Do you know what I'm thinking of? You know, inside, and I've actually I'm lost for words for the name of it, but the giant lizard-looking thing that Obi-Wan Kenobi rides.
Oh yeah,
the big Komodo dragon,
3.
Whatever that is. Imagine riding something similar to that. Or of course, Elder Scrolls lore friendly.
But definitely this kind of stuff with the mix of environments, it would be pretty awesome. And you could have even something like that. Looks like it could swim. Could be a swimming mount because there's swampy-ish sort of areas and places.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. It could just do both. It could be like a what do you call them? Hovercraft.
I thought you were gonna say some creature, and you're like, know. Those things that live in the swamps, hovercrafts.
No, but I'm just talking about how it could be on land and water.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that'd be really interesting.
Yeah, I think vampires in Morrowind, if it was set there, wouldn't be as interesting. Vampires are pretty standard, aren't they? There's different...
Yeah, there's different types. They could always fruit and...
Of course they could. I mean, there's no interesting vampires in... Skyrim vampires technically don't sound exciting, but they were made fantastic.
Yeah.
So, they can do a lot with that. And were creatures as well. I don't think there is a were creature native to Morrowind.
I don't think
you could see were crocodiles, as we said, but you'd have werewolves.
Yeah.
Werewolves are there.
Yeah, sure.
As we saw in Blood Moon. So yeah, I want something with werewolves. I don't know what were creatures we'd have.
Other opportunities.
A were-netch.
Other things we need to talk about is magic.
So retarded.
Magic systems. It's great for expansion of magic systems. You could bring, potentially, I know it's really hard to design games with it, but levitation. But things of that nature.
Bring back the range of spells we've seen in Morrowind and Oblivion. Why did they reduce the range?
Because you have these powerful Telvanni mages and stuff, and even all these hidden Argonian magics or whatever that could be doing all this.
As we saw, if you have what's the name of the mod for all those interesting spells?
Midas magic.
Right. Well, in that there are a ton of the things as simple as being able to run faster by dual casting a running faster spell. Things like Featherfall, a spell you cast and then you can jump off a cliff and not die.
Yeah.
Things like, especially because it's probably not going to be a Dragonborn based game and you're not going to have dragon shouts. You want dragon shouts to be replaced by spells. Not all of them, we just mean the variety of interesting effects.
I was just thinking then about Featherfall. Imagine, because they don't want levitate. Okay, because that can be used to cheat. Imagine if it's just a Featherfall spell, but it doesn't. You actually float down.
Oh,
you start floating down slowly, but basically
you
can
still exploit that. But it'd be less exploitable because you can't travel up.
Yeah.
However, you could just Batman it to other locations.
Jump off you can by comparison High Hrothgar and float down to Whiterun.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, that'd be sick.
But the spell could run out before that or something. So,
well, there you go. But it's interesting thought that.
Yeah.
More spells would be good.
More spells, more fruit, more Argonians, more Dark Elves. I mean, I love Dark Elves, he loves Argonians. We like all of them, but that's our favourite races. So that's the FudgeMuppet special.
And I must say, my races are changing all the time. My favourite race. I don't even know if it would be Argonians now.
Yeah.
They're a favourite, but there's just so many others.
I like all of them. I can
Yeah.
spin it on any.
Don't pick a favourite race, but Argonians, Dark Elves together, awesome.
But I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's about it. So
We've wrapped this good little discussion in the comments. Let's see some
tell us
your
what you
opinions
think.
and thoughts.
I think with Morrowind as well, we don't think Elder Scrolls 6, like the chance of it being in Morrowind, probably not heaps.
Yeah.
But it could be. You never
just remember,
know.
these are just hypothetical discussion
Yeah.
videos.
And the thing is as well with
just
it,
getting your fucking creative juices flowing.
yeah. If you go through all the like location choices as Camelworks did in his recent Elder Scrolls 6 locations video.
Camelworks.
Yep, check the description, and mate, we'll see you for pizza soon. He talks about like the probability of it being in each location, and then what the sort of revelation you come to after that video is like, fuck, could really be in so many places. Like,
oh yeah,
it's hard to, you can narrow it down, but even then, it's just like,
well,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Even though we're gonna do a
if it
video
was
on it
Morrowind.
still.
Yeah.
But Akavir, it looks, after he made some really good points about how it's
Oh no,
very
but I never expected all of Akavir. You'd have a
Yeah.
part of Akavir.
Yeah.
And that is probably going to be one of the next discussion videos, depending on what you vote in. Akavir or Cyrodiil. Head to Facebook and thumb up the choice that you want to see.
And have a wiggly, wiggly, wiggly day.
Wiggles. We'll see you next time.